And I said very smartly, oh, that's messenger ribonucleic acid. And then I said, that was not helpful for you, was it? And she goes, kinda. So what that means is it is a partner to DNA. Now you've heard of DNA, that's our genetic code. mRNA is the part that goes and attaches to it, copies, and then goes off to tell your body, in this case, to make more armament or antibodies. And the vaccine just uses your same systems, and that's showing it. It takes it to another cell that makes antibodies, and that's what it's showing on this slide. Now, coming back to the analogy about armies, and I said, when the virus or bacteria attack your body and you don't have many armament around or many antibodies, then they can come in and make you sick. What if something could tell your body about what's going to come and invade you, and then you could get your armament ready? Well, that secret information is a vaccine. That's the idea of a vaccine. It takes a piece of the virus, in this case of Pfizer and Moderna, the messenger RNA, and shows it to your bodies. Think of it, the army depot that turns out armament, so that it makes a bunch of antibodies, a bunch of armament. So then if you do get attacked by the virus, your body is ready to go to block off and make sure and kill off the virus so you don't get sick. That's why sometimes they say, even if you have been vaccinated, you could still transmit the disease, because could be a short lag time where it comes in and then your antibodies go to work. Well, maybe some might actually sneak in and replicate. Now, when I said the word replicate, that means make more of itself. And why is that important? We want to stop viruses from replicating, because when a virus replicates, that's when it mutates. And then when it mutates, that's when you get, there's variants that might make you sicker, like in South Africa, or might be more contagious, like in the United Kingdom. And I do hear someone who, if you could mute yourself, please. So when a virus can't replicate, make more of itself, then it can't mutate. And then that means that we can get ahead of the pandemic, because we won't have another virus to contend with. We have to go forward into the future to see what happens. And that's the question about the booster vaccine. Now, the cool thing about this is this science has been around for many, many years. And when those doctors on the video talked about it, there was nothing special about how this vaccine was made. It's existing technology. We just move faster because, as I showed you in that other slide, so many people are dying. So many people are sick. And so we need to get ahead of this pandemic. Next slide, please. Now, Janssen is on pause as of, I believe it was April 12th. It is, and I wanted to point out this fact because I hope it gives you some safety and a little peace of mind. We have given out 6.8 million Janssen vaccines in the US alone. Think about that. This picture is when the Pope went to Manila, and it's trying to show you what 6 million people look like. So that's a lot of folks. Now, the CDC decided that 6 women between the ages of 18 to 48 got this very rare clotting disorder. And you know what they did? They said, whole country, stop. 6 people. That's how much each individual life matters in this country. We're going to stop it and say, we're not going to say never go back to it. What they're saying is, give us a moment to see if there's a pattern. Give us a moment to see if maybe women who are ages 18 to 48 shouldn't be taking this vaccine, and then they will give us a new recommendation, and maybe we can go back to using Janssen. Now, the nice thing about Janssen is it's the single dose vaccine. It is made a little bit different than the Pfizer and the Moderna. So it doesn't need, it's easier to store, it's easier to transport, it's easier to administrate, and you only need 1. Pfizer and Moderna need 2. They have to be stored in the freezer, and for Pfizer in ultra cold storage for a while. And again, you have to come back for a second vaccine. But my point of showing you this slide is it makes me feel good that our government, the CDC, has said, let's stop and see what's going on for 6 women. So next slide. So what can you do? Number one, so I talked about the immune system, right? And I said your immune system has to be healthy because when you present the vaccine to it, it's got to go to work and make armament, antibodies. The same is if you actually get sick, your body needs to go to work and make the antibodies. So what can you do to help your immune system? So number one, you can keep chronic conditions under good control. Take your medications regularly, follow up with your primary care provider. And if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or if you're overweight, you want to keep your diabetes under good control, your blood pressure under good control, and kind of get that COVID pounds off. Next slide, please. And other things are things you already are doing, things you already know, and this boosts your immune system. Don't smoke, eat a diet high in fruits and vegetables, exercise, 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 maintain that healthy weight. And of course, if you do 2, 3, you end up with 4. And if you drink alcohol, drink in moderation and get enough sleep. We all strive to do these things. And I say it's an up and down course all the time, but always come back to it. I'm always doing a detox, which means I am trying to eat more fruit. I'm always going to exercise more. And yeah, I like my cocktails. So I'll have less, or I try to say, well, I'm going to switch to red wine because isn't that good for my heart? So think about that when you are thinking about how to be healthier. Next slide, please. Here's some other things that I recommend. Now, there are many doctors and many providers out there who have different feelings about vitamins. I am a huge believer in vitamins. Many people say that we don't need vitamins in the Western world because our diet is varied. We have easy access to food that has all of these things in it. However, I believe that taking vitamins helps. So one of the ones that is very important for Black people is vitamin D. Because of our lovely brown skin, we don't metabolize vitamin D as well or as quickly. It blocks it. Vitamin D must be metabolized from the sun. And even if you do go in the sun, it's still recommended to wear sunscreen, which also decreases the changing of vitamin D to the active form. And just because we do have melanin does not mean we can't get skin cancer. So a dermatologist who I truly admire said, stay out of the sun, wear your sunscreen, and eat your vitamin D. Zinc is another one that is recommended to boost your immune system, along with vitamin C. Now, there were some studies in the long past, mega doses of vitamin C. That is not necessary. 500 to 1,000 milligrams is great. And the vitamin Bs, there's lots of Bs, B12, B6, B1, B100. Get a vitamin B complex, it has them all. And then vitamin E, that's another one that is very helpful to build up the immune system. And the last thing that looks like it fell off my slide, excuse me, is probiotics. Probiotics you can find in yogurt, and I don't mean Yoplait, which are tasty, but that's like eating a cookie. I do mean like a Greek yogurt, like a Chobani, that just has the actual natural fruit at the bottom. That has probiotics in it, kombucha. I like this little packet of probiotics that I put in my water because it tastes like Kool-Aid and reminds me when I was a kid. My mom used to make me Kool-Aid. So find something with probiotics in it and you can have kind of fun with this. Next slide, please. And then just lastly, something we often don't talk about or take for granted, and we always want to be so strong, is that it's very important for you to remember your mental health. Your mental health can cause stress, which also can, if you're depressed, anxious, worried, we always say we're so stressed out. Being stressed also can diminish your immune system. So you want to remember your mental health as well. I strongly recommend meditation. If you're religious, of course, prayer and practicing mindfulness. staying in the moment to kind of calm yourself down can be very helpful. There's many different resources out there to help you do this. And of course, exercise. Endorphins are real. And if you notice, one of the common denominators here is exercise. When you exercise, you have a feeling of wellness and of health. And at the same time, it is helping your body to lose weight, helping your heart, helping your lungs, helping you sleep better, and helping you feel better. So exercise, I can't see enough about it. And we need to remove the stigma of seeing a mental health professional, having a therapist, going to group counseling. Anything you need to do to feel better, all that matters is feeling better. Get the help you need. You can start just by seeing your primary care doctor. And if your primary care or you're seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist and they recommend medications, don't be afraid of trying them. The thing to remember about trying medications, they don't work like an antibiotic or like when you have a headache taking some Motrin and the pain goes away. Taking a medication is a commitment to wellness, and they take about 4 to 6 weeks to even know if you're working. And the thing I used to say to my patients was, you won't so much notice that all of a sudden I'm happy. What you'll notice is I don't feel so bad when you start to take a medication or you start your therapy program, because just doing therapy alone can be helpful. You will notice when someone asks you, would you like to meet me on a Zoom now? I was going to say, go out and do something. We're almost there. Is that you will say yes rather than I don't feel like it. Or when I say this stuff about exercise, you'll say, oh, I'll try. And maybe you might go out for a walk the next day. So those are things you'll notice as you start to heal. So please take care of yourself. And just next slide. And so I'm going to open it up to questions now. I've told you a lot. You heard a lot on that excellent video. And now I just want to be here to be a resource for you. And so please, I guess, unmute yourselves and shout out your questions, or you can put them in the chat. Are the current vaccines legally or clinically classified as experimental? Yes. Excuse me, it's not COVID. I was talking too much. They have emergency use authorization. I guess I should say they are not experimental. What we would like is for time to go forward into the future to say that, to figure out all the side effects, to find the things before they open up before they open it up and say that the FDA approves it. But time is of the essence here. Again, like I talked about the science and what they talked about on the video, the science to create them is old science. There's nothing new. It's just a new vaccine. Traditionally, we would like to spend years studying it before we say it's safe. We don't have the time. If we wait, not only, I mean, I focus on people getting sick and people dying, but if you are a business owner, you're starting to think about going bankrupt. If you're some people who have jobs and their business closed, they are worried about becoming homeless. So not only do we need to get ahead of this epidemic to save our people, we also need to save our economy. So let's see here. I'll pull up my chat. And can you talk a little bit about the need for a third shot and an annual shot? Thank you for asking that. Right now, we don't know. And when I talked about the viral replication and the mutation, that's what's going to tell us that. You have seen viruses naturally mutate. That's just what they do. They change. And so if they change in a way that makes them more infective or more virulent, that means that it's easier for people to, if they get sick, they get sicker, and then it's easier to transfer to another person and make them sick. Then there is a possibility you might need a third shot or a booster shot or an annual shot. We don't know yet. We have to go forward into the future and see. And what is the earliest the current vaccines could be FDA approved? I actually don't know that. I'm going to have to find out, but I can email out to you once I do, because I don't know the process of how many years off the top of my head, but we can easily find that out. And then let's see here, I've had both Pfizer with no side effects. That's fantastic. Pfizer seems to have a lower side effect profile than Moderna. We don't know why yet, but people do report fewer side effects with Pfizer than the Moderna, but the side effect profiles are the same. Redness at the site. And yeah, it's not really from the vaccine. It's because we poked you with a sharp stick and went into your arm. So yeah, that might hurt. But then it also can cause you to feel a little flu-like. It can cause you to be very tired, have headaches. It can even mimic having COVID. They also say that people who had COVID, which is recommended that you still get vaccinated, have a stronger reaction or are more likely to have side effects than people who didn't. Now, I had Moderna, and when I first got it, I was fine. Exactly 7 days later, the site where I got it became red and a little swollen and warm to the touch. And I was like, oh, great. And I had done some crazy workouts because I was with my daughter in DC and she loves working out. So I'm like, I'm going to keep up with her. And I thought, oh, I must have overdone it. Now I have a bacterial infection. But, then I remember, oh, that's right, I'm a doctor. And so what's actually going on? Sometimes you have to have these conversations with yourself. So then I go, wait. That's a delayed type 2 hypersensitivity reaction, which just means sometimes some things, and it's always mild, don't show up for a period of time until your body goes, like you put the vaccine in and your body's like, oh, that's cool, fine. And then like a week later, like, wait, what? What'd you do? Oh no, we're gonna act up a little bit here. And then it lasts about a day. And I took some Motrin and Benadryl and it goes away. And then now they call that COVID arm. So that was a side effect that is commonly uncommon. When I got my second vaccine, I was fine all day, but I woke up very tired and kind of achy in the morning. And I was kind of tired and achy all day and had to take a nap. And I don't usually take naps on work days, but I did. Naps to me or something you do on the weekends, and they're like a special treat, like a piece of candy or a glass of wine. I'm gonna take a nap. But this was not one of those good naps. This was like, I just need to go to sleep now kind of nap. And so I did that, and I was achy, and I did take Tylenol Motrin again. And then in about the next day I woke up, I was feeling much better, and it was gone by the second day. And that's what many people report. The side effects last anywhere between 1 to 5 days, and you take Tylenol or Motrin. I usually say start low dose, and you want to drink plenty of water and just know that this might happen. But when my husband got it, he had his first dose, he was fine. The second dose, his side effect was grumpy. And we were having a good time, and all of a sudden he was just grumpy. And I was like, what is wrong with you? And we look at each other and he goes, oh, maybe that's the side effect of the vaccine. I'm like, that's not written down, but okay. So, you might get grumpy. So just watch for that too. But they only lasted for both of us no more than 2 days. And that's what we're hearing from most people. On the outside is 5 days. And let's see, can you speak about the difference in between the inoculation, vaccination, and or gene therapy? Okay, so inoculation is when you are introducing someone to the whole disease, and then you want their body to do what the vaccine does. That's kind of not what you want to do, because in this case, well, you could die. So it's probably not a good idea with this. And then the vaccine is what we are doing, which is safe and effective. It's using a little piece of a part of the viral DNA, like I described, to make your body make a immune reaction to protect you in the future. Now, gene therapy is not something that has anything at all to do with this, but I see why you're making that connection, because I've used words like mRNA and DNA, but this is not something that you need to go to the genes to do therapy on, because it's not a problem with our genetic code. It's just a virus is infecting us like a cold. But just like a virus doesn't, or a cold doesn't change your DNA, neither does this. If you had zero reaction to your vaccine, does that mean it's less effective on you? We don't know that yet. But that is information that we will, of course, be studying and talking to people and then looking to see what the outcomes are, because that's a very interesting question. I like to think, because I had more of a side effect than my husband, that I am more protected than he is, though. So I like that, but I don't know if that's true. We'll have to see. I just had J&J last Saturday, no reactions, wonderful. So Lauren, if you're between the ages of 18 and 48, the time when these the bad side effect occurred in those 6 women was between 6 and 13 days. So, and I don't know any more than that. And that's why they said, let's hold so we can find out more, so then we can answer this question with a better answer. But most likely, if you think about it, that's a 1 in a million chance of getting that reaction. So you have a better chance, I think, of winning the lottery than of getting this side effect. So you just have to wait to see. But I can't tell you not to worry, but I would say don't worry, or it's very low likelihood of any problems for you. But again, we have to wait to see until we get advice from the CDC. If medications say beware of blood clots, should we still get the vaccine? Whenever I get the flu shot, I'm sick for 10 weeks afterwards with bronchitis. So that's 2 questions. So, or one thing doesn't have to do with the other. The first thing is, so women between the ages of 18 and 48 are a little bit more what we call hypercoagulable. It's likely because of estrogen. And why I say it's likely because of estrogen is because if you take the pill, the birth control pill, which is estrogen and progesterone, that makes you more likely to have blood clots. Also, being overweight makes you more likely to have blood clots. So because when you're overweight, you have more estrogen and more testosterone floating around, so more hormones. So is there some kind of correlation there? We don't know yet, but that could be why it's just affecting fertile, 18 to 48 fertile women. But that is all speculation. Of everything I just said there is speculation. And so, and I always like to be very clear about that, because I do say things that are complete facts, and then there's ideas out there. But again, that's why the CDC said, let's stop and see, so then we can make a plan. And Yahoo posted an article saying the WHO chief said COVID-19 infection rate approaching highest of pandemic so far. How is that if people are getting vaccinated? So it depends on where you're standing in the curve, and it depends on what he's actually talking about, because that's one of those statements that's, what's that saying about lies, damn lies, and statistics? So that's one of those things. Like, you could say almost anything if you're looking at a curve. So if I am looking at the curve, let's say right now today, and I'll show these, and I didn't show all of that today, but you can look at a number of things. The number of cases are going down here, mostly in the United States, but in Europe, they're going up. And if you look at the curve for France, it is at the highest point ever before. So their infectivity rate is increasing overall. However, that's in a given point in time. And so are they saying they're getting more infected, or there are more cases? Because it's almost like 2 different things, like how fast are people getting sick? So I would have to look at exactly what the WHO chief said and exactly what they were talking about to say that. But in this country, more people are getting that. If you look at California, we're at about 22 million people have had at least 1 vaccine. Our infection rates are going down. We are, if you want to speak in the color tiers, we used to all be red, which was the worst, and then purple, and then now we're orange across the state. So when we are having a great vaccination rate, we also follow the recommendations of our state and local governments by, most people in California wear a mask, you respect social distancing, we're disinfecting like crazy. That's important too. And that's why in California, we're getting ahead of this. If you look into other places, like in the middle of the country, that aren't doing those things, their rates aren't as good as ours. So it all matters in order for the pandemic to stop. And so, Lorraine, you are, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. You're 53, so you're outside of the window. But again, we'll have to wait to see until we get information from the CDC, and then we can say, you know, with more certainty. But it definitely does seem 13 days, you're probably going to be fine. Many decline vaccines in general due to religious, spiritual reasons. Is there an exemption process or remedy under those circumstances? Yes. Just for like any other vaccine, you can decline it for your work if you have a religious reason. They just ask you to bring in something from your pastor or your religious leader confirming you just kind of enroll, you don't believe in them, and then you can be exempt. There's many, you know, different religions do feel that way. So there is an exemption, but that is also why we talk about things like herd immunity. And herd immunity is when enough people have the vaccine that one person not having it makes it less likely that the virus can again take hold, because there's nowhere, if they get it, there's nowhere for it to go. And then the likelihood of them getting it, because there's nice pictures of this on the internet, because they're kind of surrounded by people who have been vaccinated, so the virus can't take hold. So then it's unlikely for them to get sick. So we have time for 2 more questions. Wow, we're at 5 o'clock already. I talk a lot. So if you do have more questions, feel free to email me, and I'm more than happy to keep asking questions. So thank you very much. I'm sorry to talk for so long. I like the sound of my own voice. I think Walt said that too. And so I just keep talking until someone cuts me off. All right, thank you.
Oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome. Just a couple of things. We're going to go into a poll as well. Just want to also caveat on the religious exemption. You can get like the doc said, you can get the religious exemption, but you still have to pay tithes. You still have to pay tithes. We're not exempting that. You still got to pay your tithes and your offerings and put in on the building fund. And you can't come into the church, but you can go virtual and get an exemption, but you still got to pay tithes virtually. Amen. All right. That Kenny Reese over there. I see you, Kenny. I try to wear my shirt like you. So also, if you had cooties, if you had the cooties when you were in the 6th, 7th grade, you don't have to take any shots. You're good to go if you had cooties. That just want to make sure that. And for the Johnson & Johnson shot, it is one shot. You do get one shot, and so not to cheat anybody, you will get a small jar of the green Ultra Sheen cosmetic hair conditioner with the Johnson & Johnson shot. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, if you're scared of needles, I was scared of needles. They gave me my shot in the shot glass. I took my vaccine in the shot glass.
That's got to be my man, Tony Roberts.
And I felt great. I don't want no needles.
Tony Roberts. That's got to be the one and only Tony Roberts, baby. Hey,
how y'all doing, man? You all right?
That's
I've been listening to Janine, the doctor. She's very informative, man. I mean, if I cried and my wife didn't on the vaccine, does that make me a weak man? I mean, is that how it goes? My wife took that needle and she shot herself. They gave her the needle. I was laying down, they gave my shot. I told them I want it in the glass. I don't want my shot in no needle. I didn't want to do that.
But Tony, I'm trying to figure out what happened to COVID 1 through 18. What happened to COVID 1 through 18? Like what we just skipped.
Pick a number. Yeah, we pick a number. They had COVID-19 in 2020. It been COVID 20. I mean, somebody knew something at 19. They was too stupid to change the name to 20. COVID-19.
So for those that don't know, that's comedian Tony Roberts, one of the greatest in the game. He's in Sacramento this weekend. Make sure
if y'all don't know me, if you don't know me, welcome out your coma. How y'all beautiful people doing?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad I logged on, man, because she answered a couple of questions I needed to know, man, because I took the shot and I went straight to ICU. It seemed like I was in my bed with my last wishes, because it was like ridiculous. I'm like, what's going on? How they give you the vaccine to kill the vaccine? I didn't get that. It's like you go and have a heart attack. You go to the doctor and say, I need a heart attack to get rid of this heart attack. I didn't know you had to give the vaccine to be the vaccine. I don't know.
Don't make no sense.
Until I researched it, and then I'd say, But yeah. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So real quick, man, we're gonna take this poll, put up the poll. We're gonna see. There it is. Boom. Go ahead and take your poll for us. Hopefully the numbers change. Also, we want to let you guys know that the Urban League is giving out shots on Monday at their location in Del Paso Heights. This will be the only time in Sacramento history that we're gonna tell you to go to Del Paso Heights to get shot.
That's the only time. Only time. Not even on Halloween. Don't even try. Those are real zombies. There ain't no fake. There ain't no makeup.
This is the only time you can go to DPA and say, "Yo, I want to get shot."
I seen somebody sitting on the porch with no house behind him in the Paso Heights.
All right. So hopefully in a couple seconds, those results are going to jump off or come back to us. And we're not hating on DPA. We're not hating on DPA. Love DPH. But also, doctor, I got this, the doctor, she's still here. I got this bump on my arm. We're offline. We'll do that offline. So I'm gonna pass it back.
You got that from the club, from the nightclub. you got bit by a stripper.
Right now, we're gonna pass it back. We're gonna pass it back to the Director of Recruiting and Education and Training, the lovely Miss Cassandra Jennings. Go ahead, take it away. There's the poll. There's the numbers.
Okay, 67% say yes. I can see why they say no.
All right, all right. Looks like the poll is trending about the same. So thank you, Dr. Bera, and thank you, Sir Walt. Before I turn it over to Ronnie, I just want to emphasize what Sir Walter had said, that we will be doing a vaccination center at the Urban League on Monday from 11 to 2. And it is really important that if you're not ready, and we hope that you can get there, that you may tell others, because this is more than just us. It's about protecting our community and the people that are around us and the people we'll be with. So if we aren't able to fill all of our slots by the end of the day, and in a couple of hours, it will go to an open registration. And our goal here at the Urban League, and there are others that are doing it, is to make sure that our community that doesn't always have access has access to the things that we deserve and that we need in a timely manner. So we want to make sure that people of color, people from communities that we serve, African Americans, have access to this vaccine. So if you can, or if you know somebody, we would love for you to give us a call at 916-286-8696. And we have someone that's manning the phone or that will be responding that will be able to help you sign up for the vaccine on Monday. Thank you. And I will turn it over to Ronnie. Thank you guys for a little bit more time, and we're about to close out. So thank you. Ronnie?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Jennings. I really appreciate you guys. Some of your faces I have not seen in a year. And so it is wonderful seeing people on here. Mr. Tykert, it's wonderful seeing you, my friend. It's been a while. And but I'm very, very much appreciative to Dr. Bera for that quality information and your personality. If more of us had doctors like you growing up, I think more of us will go to the doctor on a regular basis. And I appreciate that information and the breakdown of your information too. To Walter, friends forever, man. Much love to you. And for the way you shared your information with us, to our staff and the employees that have supported everything to get to this point. And also for Tony Roberts taking the time to do a little drive-by and give us some love as well while he's here in Sacramento. I appreciate you so much for that. Just understand the importance of vaccinating. I will be participating here at the Urban League myself on Monday because some of the education and information that I've received, and we've all had our chances to be on the fence, but since we're bringing it to our office, I'm going to go and register when I finish so we don't lose these vaccines. But I appreciate you all immensely, and thank you for being comfortable and being open and honest with us about your discretion because that's normal. But we appreciate you much. We wish you guys a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to sharing a little more information. We've got one clip that's going to run for about 6.5 minutes that'll come on right after I do to let you know about some good things we've got going on at the Urban League, and get ready for jazz and immunity in the community, and also get ready for gospel and immunity in the community. We've got more coming and more information. We love you guys. Have a great weekend. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye to everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Oh, this is cool. Hey.